There we go. No, that's no.
Can you hear us now? Yes, no?
No.
No.
I can hear whoever.
Oh,
You
okay,
can hear us? Oh, okay.
okay. Sorry for the technical difficulties there.
Fine. No, I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Right. No, that's fine. I think I get it. Anyway, I'll redo the roll call in case you guys didn't hear, because I don't know. Chris. Here. Leanne.
Here.
Peter. Here. Myself. Eric is present. AJ. And Kelly.
Here.
Thank you. All right. Roll call is complete. You have a quorum.
Okay, all right. So continuing on the next part of the agenda is public comment. Nothing at this time. Is there anyone online there?
No one online? No.
Okay. All right. All right, moving to the next one, committee elections. Last time I was elected as chair, but now we have to appoint committee vice chair. I guess I'd like to make a motion for Leanne Mankey for vice chair.
You're the only one with the second. You were
Second.
Eric.
Oh, sorry.
You were
Okay,
Eric.
I was getting there. Okay.
You were Eric.
I'll second. Okay. You just wanted to
All in favor?
aye.
Right.
All right. Please note that Leanne Mankey is now vice chair for the LARC.
Okay.
I'd like to entertain if anyone's got any appointments for secretary. I know last time when we talked, there hadn't been a secretary for some time.
Right, I mean, it's just typically, one of you is always gonna be here to run the meeting, and if not,
Okay.
we probably cancel. It's like, we don't have a lot of motions typically, so
Okay.
you can probably just table that.
Table that for that, okay. Do I have to make a motion to table it, or?
You can do table it, or you can make a motion
Record it
to
in
just
the
not appoint a secretary at this time, or I would probably just table it, honestly,
Okay.
just if something comes along.
Yep, all right. So I'd like to table the appointment of the committee secretary at this time. then.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next order of business is approving the prior meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so now on to the business pertinent to the committee. I know that, as I said, we've been talking about kind of our trying to do parallel efforts, bringing forth to the various community organizations, trying to find out what services people need, and also so that we can work it into as far as towards a referendum for the library. But also, in addition to that, I know one of the actions we would need to take is to try to get on the agenda for a town council presentation, because we do owe the town council another presentation before we can start going through the process for referendum. I was thinking, since we're already at the end of February, I know last time we did it at the end of February, and I know that at March is usually pretty busy with budget season. I was looking to see, I didn't know town council meeting schedule for April, if there was time in there that we could get on the agenda for our follow-up presentation.
That's fine. I'll shoot an email to Lauren and Lauren.
Okay.
I think that's good thinking. I mean, it'll give us a month to, the library facilities committee under Chris's leadership is moving to fine tune the presentation we did last year, adding things to making things more driven to what some of these reviews and surveying tools have yielded. So can kind of fine tune that in the next month, and hopefully by March's meeting, we'll have a better idea and then have gotten on the calendar in April.
Yeah, like so. I'll copy Chris on it at least tomorrow and send it to Lauren. Whatever time frame, date she can come up with.
Okay.
Typically the budget, and Kelly can probably correct me on this, because she knows she's the one who's got to be intimately involved with this. When is it you typically, I know March is all the meetings with the various committees. When are you looking to finalize?
Let me double check the calendar that I have for all of the meetings and potential voting, and I'll tell you by the end of the meetings.
Okay, great, thank you.
Um,
Yeah, we don't want to get in the midst of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
we will.
it's possible they could have some time at the end of March as well. Is that acceptable as well, or?
We'd have to push for it because we'd have to meet to
So
continue
to
to put it
go
on.
I'll see what Lauren thinks, and you guys can hammer those details out.
Yeah, we can look at the dates that are available and proceed from there. As I said, we are also fine tuning the presentation to, I'll say, address some of the comments that the town council and the public seem to have as well, so.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will be able to help that along.
And obviously this body would have to become very familiar with it for walking the town council.
Correct. And then more preparation of presenting. I saw that look. And I just want to also mention too, as part of the community campaign, I'll say, as well as just working with, we've been working with Lisa and her staff on the videos that the library's been putting up for various events to promote services that they provide. Kind of all working towards potentially, video showcasing what the proposed library could potentially have as well, so.
Kelly has her hand raised. Go ahead.
Okay.
Ken.
Right now, it's April 21st is the current date to be voting to accept the budget.
So ideally, the week after, we'll hit them with that. Here we are.
And so it sounds like probably the last week in April or May is probably. when
Well,
it's-
March seems ideal, like if they had some free time, the problem I foresee is then you don't get this group up
Yeah.
to speed.
Yeah,
Because I mean, here we are, March is Sunday.
yeah. Yeah, I'd like to make sure that we have enough time to get everything all squared away the way we want it and get it in front of Lark before we present it, so.
Reasonable. We'll see what they come up with.
Okay. Besides that, I don't know if I have anything specific. Do you have anything that you could think of, Leanne, from our meetings?
No, I think you covered it. The
Do we have any
surveys.
more information from the architect? Is he ready to go?
I've actually, I actually have reached out to the architect because I wanted to let him know that we're still proceeding forward,
Yeah.
even though we haven't directly involved them, recently. So I just let them know that, that we're working on the next step with the presentation, for the town council and that. And that, I'd reach out to them once we're at a point where, we need to pull them in to support it. Cause I think their plan on when they quoted for us too, is I think they were gonna be supporting this second presentation
It would be
in front of the town
present.
council versus us just presenting it, so.
Right, I think that's what.
And she responded that they were just kind of waiting on us and,
Yeah.
and they were prepared to come in, which was, as Chris said, that's what they were hired to do this time around.
And they have the different
The different schemes,
Schemes.
yeah.
the
Right,
different-
and they'll be able
different
to answer
concepts.
questions that, we may not be able to answer as far as if somebody asks about building materials or projected costs and stuff like that.
Right.
That's why they're there, that's why I fired them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had checked with Lauren before this meeting too, just to make sure and everything, and we still have that funding in place for that PO for them to continue to
Yeah.
support, so. All right,
Good.
okay. Any other questions or?
No.
All right,
It's
yes.
my intent to go over that this weekend. I told you I had to get other things done. I will have the information back to you. As I said, I did a cursory review, but I want to go
Okay.
back and dive in, much like you did,
Yeah.
page by page.
Yeah. Yeah. As I said, I've gotten feedback back internally and gone, so.
So, I did see your comments, so, but like I said, I just wanted to, with my brain clear, go back and look at it.
Yep.
The problem with somebody like me looking at it, I know too much about it, so I just know what you're talking about rather than looking at it from
From a fresh perspective.
a fresh perspective. Yeah, he might get called in.
To take a look. So, all right.
Just be quiet.
I will say one thing. Today was the first day I got a chance to go to the library during the week,
During the day.
during the day, and see how many people actually go to the library.
There's no parking places. Uh-huh.
But there's a lot more people like me that don't know that there's that many people that use the library. Somehow we have to get that out to the people that don't use the library.
Yep.
That there are a lot of people that use the library. And I don't know how we do that, but we have to do that. Because you're not gonna convince somebody that doesn't use the library that the library is a busy place.
No. And
How we
that's,
do it, but that's what we have to do.
yeah, and I know that's part of what we were saying too, is that, okay, we probably have, the people who use the library on board most of the way.
Right, right.
With what it is, but trying to get the people who don't use the library to know, first off, we're trying to say, okay, trying to inform and say, okay, these are all the things that you can do at the library that maybe you just didn't know because you thought it was just books,
Yeah, or you
So,
work all the time and you never get to the library, but if you get to the library and you see you can see why you need to put an addition on.
yeah,
Could also try and have as a informational event, we'll say, is, have a card carrying member bring someone to the library on a certain time, whatever, that has never been to the library.
Good idea, yeah.
so library buddy.
Yeah, whatever, yeah, just to
So,
some
I,
expose some people to it.
I was impressed.
Well, you hit it on just a typical morning. He walked in, the community center had a class going. There were little people coming from downstairs from a program. Then we went over to reference. There was somebody using the copier. We had to use the fax.
Hmm.
And there's people over in the, using the teen center to study because the rooms were all full,
Yeah.
so.
So I would also, can you hear me? I don't know.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the other thing I was just thinking is like today's event, Leanne, we had the DMV at the library.
Yep.
So we actually had people who have either not been in the library like you, Peter, for a while, or we had people that have never been in the library. So I'm, like bringing in like more of those outreach events, because you bring a different population. Part of it is just getting them, reaching. This was a different way to get different people to come in today.
That was a great idea. It is.
Yeah.
So Lisa, was it a pretty busy, well-attended event then, the DMV
It was,
stuff?
I mean, it was a 4-hour event. I would say they had between 25 and 30 people overall, but I don't think you could do much more because every transaction takes time.
Yeah.
But it was really, people were so appreciative. I mean, I can't tell you how many people loved the idea. And it wasn't our idea initially, it was actually the DMV's way of
Hmm.
getting out into the public and offer service to people that have a harder time getting in. So we had a lot more elderly, things like that. But we also had some people that I had never seen before. But it was yeah, it was well attended. It was, they did a nice job, and I think we got some, people that just hadn't been in a while. So that was a good thing. Maybe they'll come back.
Yeah, but they-
Hey, you know what, you could, not that they would, but you could try reaching out to the post office and do a passport thing there too.
Correct. Yep. Someone, yeah, that's a possibility too. Because I know they've done those events before at libraries. Some libraries actually can do passports.
Yeah, didn't they
I'm sure
whack a bunch of those recently?
Yeah, there
They
was something
did.
about the,
Yeah, the
They did,
government.
but I think some libraries still do it, but I don't, that would be something we could try if they have the people to be able to do it.
right.
That's some of it as well.
Yeah.
But, services like that are a little bit different besides just a regular program.
You probably should do a review of state agencies or federal agencies like that to see if there's some that
Yeah, they
lean
can
into.
come out. Yep, exactly. Exactly.
You know, whatever, 6 or 7 a year, you kind of get them on a recurring basis.
And then they're coming in, and while they're there, maybe they'll
Yeah.
wander a little farther afield besides the community room.
Yeah. But I saw several people just walking through after and just looking at the old building, the new, the newer edition, not new, but
I was gonna say new.
Yeah. the 88 edition. I made sure they knew it was 88, believe me. But but it was neat to see them just kind of poking around after. So
One other thing that I don't know if it will feed into it, but we've been doing the videos is, it's not scheduled for now, but as of May 1st, Cronenberger and Sons is scheduled to come in and do the repairs, restoration on that front door, the Churchill door, which is gonna be a 8 to 12 week project. So it might be worth something like posting along that line.
Like an updates and
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, I think that would be a great idea because I think people are, interested, especially if you're interested in history, like town
Right.
history and stuff like that. Just giving like updates when they, start when they're taking it, bringing it down, taking apart the pieces they have to, and then that
And
kind
a
of
lot
thing.
of work for it is done because in the application of the grant, we had to give a history of it, so that could be part of the.
Yeah, and that's something we could definitely keep on our radar. I mean, you don't have to do it every single day, but you could give updates as they're doing things.
Post what, the restoration videos, and then.
Yeah, that we could do that now. Well, as soon as we can walk through. Well, we
You can't do it right now.
No, I think we've had some melting, so it's probably possible right now, but we take some pictures and do that. That would be good.
You guys have been doing a great job on social media too. So if you can take images or quick videos and then time lapse them at the completion of it as well. So you can do, I
That's
don't
a
know,
good
daily
idea.
or a couple of updates a week or whatever, and then do a completed time lapse from start to finish.
That's a good idea, Kelly. That's something I'll mention to the people who do the social media. Because really multiple people could take the pictures.
Right.
And then, sorry, that's my dryer. Yeah, I know, right? Ooh. But that would be a good idea.
The other thing too is to make people aware at the time that primarily is, I mean, we've applied for grants, but it's library funded to fix it, not town funded.
Right.
Once it's all resolved, hopefully we will get the grant and that will help.
Right.
It does show people where some of their money's going when they donate. That's all I had.
Guess, we're back to public comments.
No one online.
I have comments.
Nah.
I loved Kelly's idea for fast track because I had fast track time lapse video for the door. I think that's a great way, even just if people are interested, they're gonna drive by, they're gonna see what's going on.
Yeah.
And even Lisa, if you still have that finial in your office, if a good first shot of somebody holding the finial at the door, in front of the door, and then like kind of going through, but then you can fast track it. I've seen
Set it on the stoop.
seen some of those and it's so interesting to see it as it happens, but then to have the whole fast track thing at the end, you know, with the people running around and getting it done.
Yeah, that people like to see that for sure. You know, the big.
And with the history of the door and
before
stuff, I
after.
think
Yeah.
that'll just drive people to the website as much as anything.
And if you do get pictures now showing snow on the ground too, and you'll get that time lapse into spring too, so
Yeah.
you get that change of season
As
with
it
it.
goes through, that's good. And then the other thing that I was gonna mention, you had mentioned the grant money for the door and stuff, but at our grant meeting, one of the frustrations that we came across is that there's money, there are people that are out there, organizations that are looking to fund things for libraries, like the STEM equipment, printers, things like that. And we're stuck because we have no place to put it. We have no place to display it, no place to use it, no place to store it, no place to set up rooms to go through it. And that had to be the most frustrating thing to me. You know, it's more frustrating than not having parking. It's more frustrating than not being able to get a study room or another room. But to know that there's money out there that our community could use to bring features and functionality, and we have no place to store it, to use it, to make it available to the public. You know, some of the responses that we're getting back, I know Lisa had sent some more responses out. And one of them was, you know, you got the little kids and you got the teens, but you don't have the tweens. There's no place for them to go when you do that. And then the teen center, you know, part of our do everything whenever you can. People were studying in the teen center because the teens weren't there, but the other rooms were taken. We're cramped and we can't take advantage of current items. And one of the items they had mentioned in the survey was, you know, do you have things like 3D printers and sewing machines and stuff like that? There's grant money out there for us to buy those things.
Right.
Where are we gonna put them? You know, where are we gonna make access for it if it's there? How do we stay current with the needs of the community? And you know, these are people that are coming in and out of the library. These aren't people that are pie in the sky, you know, whatever. They took the time to fill out a form and say, I'd like it if we had this. It was quite frustrating for me to be in that grant meeting and realize that we could find funding for these items.
Right. It's all, I mean, but even with some of it, Diane, it's not just, it's space, but it's also, honestly, some of it is staffing, but you know, some of the grant money would allow you to, you know, pay to have a program done so we don't have to pay, you know, because staff can only do so much, right? But the one that you sent Bailey and stuff like that, the different things they might be able to do, you know, that there's so many opportunities, but it's space, it's time, I think space is one of the bigger factors, I would say, too, because you could ultimately have a couple different children's programs for different ages at the same time if you had the space.
Right, but even beyond the programs, I mean, it's nice to know that we could get some money beyond all the efforts that the Friends do.
Right. I mean,
there are some grants that can help support some programs, but we can't have, you know, what I was talking about is actual physical purchases for things that are being asked for by our community, like a 3D
we
printer.
don't have the space to store them.
Yeah.
Right.
Where
Space,
are we
we
gonna
don't have
store it?
maker
Where are we
space.
gonna deploy it? You know, are we gonna get a 3D printer and put it in the community room for one day and then not have it anymore, or haul it out and put it?
Or do
how
you lose
do
a study room, or do you lose whatever, you know?
And again, that's probably an argument that you weave into the presentation.
Right.
Right, but that's, I mean, to me, it's another opportunity cost. And it was very hard to sit in that meeting and hear of all the possibilities of things that could be happening and going on. And yes, we always have to worry about staffing and how we cover, you know, the square footage that's there, or, you know, additional programs or anything like that. If it was more interactive and we needed to have staff there. just the fact that there are people and organizations out there willing to give to communities so that they can support these needed functions, and we're stymied, we can't move forward, we don't have the space to put it.
I was excited that we found a spot for a 4-drawer file cabinet, so I.
Diane, do you or Lisa have like a record of the grants that you've been passing up on because you wouldn't have anywhere to utilize that?
I don't know that I have a record, Lisa might have a record, but
No, I mean, some
just
of
our-
them,
our
some of
last
them you
meeting
don't
with,
pursue because it's not feasible, based on like knowing that for the equipment and stuff like that, some of it, we just know that we don't have the dedicated space for it. I think with working with Sonia, that they're coming up with more grants, maybe more so than we would know. I mean, some of the grants, a lot of the grants we tend to go for are for services or, yeah, I would say a lot of them are for services, or they're to replace like furniture, like
places
stuff that
there.
we currently have. But I don't think we really have a list. I mean, there's some that we've applied for different initiatives that we haven't gotten, but that's the nature of the game sometimes,
Maybe you could just get a list of active grants that Sonia knows about for libraries and just, you could just
Which some of that
kind
came
of cherry
from the
pick
meeting.
those and just say, hey, we.
Yeah, that's where my frustration came from in our meeting this week or last week.
And part of me is trying to remember as well from the grant meeting is that I want to say that some of the things that we were talking about, like the 3D printers kind of thing, fit into the category of the grants that we were discussing that we could still
Agreed.
potentially go after. It's just we'd go after, but we can use it for these other things. If I remember right, there was some of the grants where we were coming up with ideas of how you could use the grants. Like, well, we don't have the space for that. We don't have the space for that, but potentially we could use it for something else. I thought that was the
Right.
case, at least in
For
one of
some
the
of them,
cases.
I think some of them are that way. They give you different categories for the grant that you could use it for. Besides, so you might have some options.
But are there also grants that you're seeing come across that you would love to apply for, but there's no purpose in applying because you would not be able to benefit from it currently because you don't have the space or you don't have a way to utilize the resources under the current building?
I don't know. I can't think of a specific grant, but I think with technology, that tends to be the concern, is that if it's something that needs a permanent home, that you tend to hesitate, because what are you going to give up in order to have a
Yeah.
permanent space for that?
And also in terms of when you're applying for grants, you're in a competitive situation. And if you have one application that has a place versus one that doesn't have a designated place, it weighs, and you have to also weigh it's not like applying for grants is just easy peasy. There's a lot of work that goes into it, so you have to weigh whether it's worthwhile and if you even have a shot at it. So, but I think we can probably pull from maybe saying, okay, here's a grant that offered this, and this. We could only apply for this because we can't service the other three.
Yeah, because if I mean, I even looked at my notes from it, and I don't know I had other grants written down necessarily, but I had all these other ideas that seemed like, okay, well, we can't do that, we can't do that. So maybe
That's a good way to put it.
Leanne touched on where I was trying to go with that, is there's another opportunity cost here because of the current facility, that there are things we can go for to help modernize or to help the library build itself out, and we can't because we don't have the space and facility to be able to do it. So I was just aiming for like another opportunity cost direction of these
Mhm.
grants would be great, but we can't even take advantage of it.
Right?
it's something we could certainly bring up and then kind of get maybe some rough ideas of what that cost would be if we were able to apply for those.
Mhm.
All right. Is there anything else, Diane, or?
No, I think that was it. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So I entertain a motion for adjournment.
I so moved.
That's his job on every committee that I swear.
I'll second.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Eric, for